ceasing to exist, whether it's beautiful and amazing and revelatory or it's painful and awful and terrible, what we're often not told is you need to find the yes to both of those, all those experiences. Because that's what releases it. That's what allows it to be free. So in this love, this unity I'm speaking about, it is not something that one can impose upon themselves. It doesn't work that way. You have to open to it and find it, and that's usually, like I said, it usually takes a kind of humility to open to it. Because you're opening to your human limitations and frailties. But when you start to find it, you come upon a totally different instinct within you. There is the instinct that does not want to suffer. It's an instinct within all beings. And because we have that instinct psychologically, biologically as well, we tend to move away from suffering, distance ourselves from it. Many, many people in spirituality are trying to find their distance, and I understand that, and it's fine to find it's good to find your distance from it for a while. To know that there is distance, to know that there is openness, that there is a state, a place of stillness and silence and well-being that is there right in the midst of it. That is a good thing. But there's a deeper instinct of freedom than finding what we're free from. And it has nothing to do with what I can escape. It has everything to do with how much love is in my heart, how much compassion I have. Do I just want to escape what causes suffering, or do I want to be an active participant in what liberates suffering? Those are two different instincts. One is to say, let me wake up, I won't want it, Or I don't want to be around you because you make me feel this, and I don't want to be around that, and I don't want to be subject to that, and turn off the television because, I don't want to. Let me meditate so I can come into that place where I remind myself that nothing's ever been harmed. That's a certain instinct. Let me find out who I'm not so I can find out who I am. But then there's also the other instinct, which is let me draw close to what hasn't been realized. Let me draw close to what's in confusion. Let me draw close to what's in pain. Let me be part of what can liberate it or redeem it. Let me be part of that, even if it causes me difficulty to do it. Even if it makes my day a bit tougher than it might have been. That's what love is, right? Does that make sense? Love isn't just being overwhelmed by, it's not just a romantic thing, although it can be that. It's not just a friendship love, although that's beautiful. It's not, there's that kind of love that draws you towards things that other people would be drawn away from. That's why the Buddha taught for 40 years after his enlightenment. What did he get out of it? Nothing. That's why Jesus, after the Spirit descended upon him at the river Jordan, went through what he had to go through. It wasn't about him. In both cases, although the stories are very different and they have their own unique texture and revelation, I think they're also expressions of a kind of love, a kind of somebody that has gone beyond that place of saying, I've found my state of freedom. I feel loved by the universe, by God, by whatever. I feel free. I've touched upon the unborn, undying, and unconditioned, and so I'm good to go. I've crossed the imaginary line of nirvana, which was never there in the first place, but somehow I crossed it, and I feel great. But it's also doing that because that's not a bad thing to do. Go for it. Do it by all means. But it's also then awakening to that other instinct that says, okay, great, I've had some strange realization that shows me that even all the suffering is illusory, but my God, there's that lady crying over there, or that child, or it might be inside of yourself. And I'm not going to stand on my side of nirvana where nothing ever has happened. I'm going to come back over that line. Not to be a good person, not for any other reason, but because you've started to awaken to the instinct of the deepest kind of love that doesn't move away from difficulty, but it is willing to be drawn near to it, close to it, because that's what liberates it.